Awesome, guys. Well, welcome, Dan, to another episode of Next Level Lifestyles, where we feature various locations, realtors, and lifestyles worldwide. And today I'm here with Dan Gandee, who is the team leader and realtor of Exit Agents team of eXp Realty. Welcome, Dan.
Hey, thanks for having me.
My pleasure. I'm so happy to be able to sit down with you, talk more about your story, the different locations you've experienced, the different lifestyles. So I'm just really pumped. So thanks for taking the time.
For sure. I'm excited. This is awesome.
All right, guys, before we get into the show, I just want to introduce you guys to Dan. So his roots began in Canton, Ohio, where he grew up and took interest in real estate at a young age, working alongside his grandfather doing construction, landscaping, and property maintenance for his rental properties. Fast forward, he's been blessed with the opportunity of living and working on the West Coast, where he's built an expansive portfolio, mentoring alongside some of the most successful and well-known real estate entrepreneurs in the world. And I can definitely attest to that. He's worked in real estate brokerage management, social media marketing, home building and development, investment and asset management, and growing his own real estate business. A diverse pathway of real estate experience has helped him understand the multifaceted world of real estate and helped him create a reputation for bringing value to his clients through relationships, strategic acquisitions, cutting-edge marketing, and expert negotiation, which I cannot wait to get all into. His craft in this trade is the result of an ever-growing passion, and now as partner in the Exit Agents team, he is so happy to share his expertise with his clients. And with that, we'll get into the show.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here. And thank you for that comprehensive introduction that I'm a copywriter by trade, so I wrote that myself.
You're a copywriter?
Yeah, my degree was in advertising. So I used to write like commercials and print copy and way before the days of real estate. Let's just say that.
I love that. And honestly, I'm sure that skill really helps you with what you're doing now.
Long story short, is I went to go work for this gentleman named Brett Jennings, Real Estate Experts, who is the number 5 real estate team in California. Wow. And it was at KW Bay Area Estates, which is a $1 billion brokerage. And I was the director of marketing operations, set up many of the lead generation platforms, systems, operational standard, operating procedures, everything, right? To support a team which was doing about 40 million every couple months. And so from that, I did that for about a year. And I hate to bore everybody with my story.
No, this is great.
Then I was like, I want ownership. Like, I want to have a piece of it. Like, I don't want to be somebody's integrator. I want to be my own visionary or be a partner of some sort of startup. So I went into mobile app development and worked for a very successful startup, me and a kid from my past in college. And we did that for a few months, a couple stints in some sales jobs, traveling the West Coast. But I had traveled everywhere in this whole entire journey, from Seattle to San Diego and anywhere and everywhere between, Nevada. And I was like, I'm done traveling. I want to get back into this business. And that's when I hit up my current CEO that I work with at Liftoff Agent on Instagram and was like, hey, I'm getting sick of the sales grind. I'm making good money, but I'm always on the road. I want to get back into real estate. And we were a real estate marketing company that built IDX websites for a lot of top producers. And we talked for a year while I was still doing sales and traveling. Finally came on as a consultant first, then came on, redid all of the customer success division. Fast forward, went from 2 or 3 employees to now 13 in 4 different states, and a crew of, probably about 8 or 9 people that are working internationally. And we just hit the record of client count. We have hundreds of clients now. Revenue is up 100% from last year. And so in all of that, I'm also an investor. And I don't mean to tell everybody this, but the whole time, guys, I was not a real estate broker. I knew that I wanted to get in it, but I didn't want my weekends kind of just stripped from me because I was working a lot of long hours. So I got into investing, started building a portfolio using owner financing. I started with $5,000. So if anybody tells you it's not possible unless your parents are rich, they're crazy. And build a portfolio of investment holds. And then from that, I actually got into an apartment complex transaction, and my agent didn't disclose things to me, and I pulled out and lost my inspection money.
Damn.
And when that happened, I said, I'm going to get my license and I'm going to represent myself now. And that's where the exit agent team came to fruition. My business partner from the investment side was like, let's do it. We got our license about 14 months ago. I've done about 3 million in transactions just this year, completely part-time, thanks to the help of Ricky Carruth and a bunch of other mentors and marketing people in the business who've kind of helped me. But this is starting to get into a real business now, where I was just doing it for the investment side, and now I have 6 transactions currently that are cooking. And so it went from 1 to 2 deals a month to now 6 a month. So it's definitely turned into a pretty successful business. But the key to all of this story, guys, is that it happened by chance. I didn't wake up one day and I was like, hey, I want to be a real estate agent. Where a lot of other people's story you hear were like, yeah, I got into this when I was 18 or 22 and I just grinded at it, and now I'm really successful in my late 20s or early 30s. Really, for me, it was mistake happened. I want to represent myself. I want to be an entrepreneur. And also my company that I work for gave me super flexibility to test our products and actually show people that it works, and doing marketing appropriately, be able to generate the right clients. So to this day, going from Ohio and uprooting myself to California was not easy. I'm the only person in my entire family that's ever relocated anywhere. Then taking the chance of building a career in one of the most successful, most competitive, most expensive areas in the country. And then when I left that business, I moved from Silicon Valley to Eugene, Oregon, and I actually didn't have a job. I literally left my job, and my wife was like, hey, I got this amazing job that we're paying for relocation. Let's just take a chance to do it again. It was her first move. And so I want to talk about that for a second. The lifestyle of making a shift and that mindset, because I talk about relocation a lot in some of my YouTube videos, is that it was not easy for my wife. I had already done it. I already knew the risk involved. I already knew all the things that you have to prepare yourself mentally, DMV, new culture, finding a job, figuring out your workflow and
making friends,
making friends,
everything. Yeah.
Everything. And I think the number one thing I learned is psychologically, if you go into it with an open mind and you tell yourself, this is going to suck, there's going to be a transition timeline in which you're going to have to get through. But once you start building relationships, guys, I have an SOI of my real estate business that if you would ask me 4 years ago was 4 people. I just checked this morning when I was updating my constant contact for my weekly email newsletter, and there's 185 people on there. And if you don't go out there, regardless if you're an introvert or an extrovert, moving and changing your lifestyle and creating relationships and adding value, nearly 90% of those relationships weren't by chance. It was me going to places like the Oregon Real Estate Investors Association and speaking and helping people, or talking about real estate, or networking with other investors, or just being a really good real estate agent and not trying to just sell people real estate to get a commission. And I don't mean to say that being cheesy. I say that because I've literally walked into houses and said, this one isn't for you guys, but we like it. No, it isn't. It's a bad investment, lots of work. You're not in the right situation. And I try to treat my real estate business as I don't need a commission check. I already have the money and the career and everything figured out. I'm going to be 100% honest with you that this is how you should get directly dealt with and get the honest advice that you need. And that's what really resonates with working with a lot of investors and relocation clients.
I love it.
Let me unpack this entire bag and make it really easy and clear for people. When I used to sit in school, in elementary, middle school, I daydreamed constantly about leaving, getting out of here. I don't want to live in a cornfield. I don't want to, like, football's not everything to me, right? Like I don't live for Friday night lights. I just didn't fit into my roots. And I feel bad for saying that, but it is what it is, right? I was always looking for more clarity on where I wanted to go. And I was daydreaming about where that would be. So I would sit there when Google came out and I would search all these different cities and towns and where do I want to live? Do I want to live in Colorado? Do I want to live in Arizona? Do I want to live in LA, chase Hollywood, whatever it is. But I'm going to be really raw here. Ohio is extremely, extremely great place to grow up. There's good roots, good people. Depending on where you are in the spectrum, be growing up with a super religious family, all the way to being, in very inner city areas where kids are just running wild, right? There's so many different demographics of people, and you are a product of your environment. But drugs, alcohol, and the lifestyle, I experienced that early on in life. And by the time I got to college, I was like, if I don't get out of here, I'm either going to be arrested or I'm going to have 3 DUIs or at the end of the day, I'm watching my friends fall like dominoes. And that Rust Belt mentality, which is basically like I live to the weekend to get drunk, to forget about all my sorrows and issues. I saw a light at the end of the tunnel where like, I need to move. I need to get myself out of this situation. And I don't share that with a lot of people on these types of podcasts, but by making that move, I extracted myself from a situation that could have been bad. And this is a true statistic. 97% of my like 30 friends all have DUIs.
Whoa.
No joke. When I left college, me and one other friend were the only 2 kids that had not had a DUI.
Dang.
And my friend's mom, I'll never forget this. Lisa, if you're out there ever listening to this, she said, Dan, the reason I like you is you're one of the few people that I know that hasn't been arrested like 3 times. And still, I trust giving a key to my house. And at the end of the day, what she really was alluding at that is I wasn't the right person to stay there and live that lifestyle. It was time to do something else. Now, fast forward, moving from California to Oregon, it's kind of similar to going back to Ohio, right? You don't have that multicultural as much. You don't have the food choices, the job opportunities, and that vision that everyone shares in the Silicon Valley, which is like either live here and work or live here and become a multimillionaire, right? Build something. And I think ultimately when I worked for Liftoff Agent and we're all remote, we're moving all over the country, we never lost sight of that vision to build something. And no matter how many steps we had to take backwards or how many paychecks we didn't receive a week, as we built that startup business and as we networked with more and more agents and as we got our brand out there, I want to talk about this. That directly goes back to making chances and taking on risk. And I think that relocation story is, if I would have never moved from Ohio to California, I never would work for a startup. I would never own an investment company. I would never started a real estate business to sell investment properties, because I would have been just stuck as, oh, I'm just going to work for somebody just to get a paycheck, have a career, own a house, raise a family. And I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with that, but when you look at somebody's story, the pros and the cons between East Coast and West Coast is that if you don't fit in, you're going to hear about it. Places like California, if you don't fit in, don't worry, because there's like 1,000 other people that don't fit in, right? I think anybody out there listening, if you're thinking about that psychology of what you need to do, I break it down into 3 buckets. You gotta have a plan. And that plan can include budget, that next job, right? That timeline, that real estate transaction that you need to sell your house, buy another, or sell your house, rent a place. You gotta have a plan. Second thing you gotta have is you gotta have the mindset. You gotta understand that it's not gonna be easy. It's gonna suck. I got to be able to control my emotions. I got to be able to manage anxiety and stress. And I need to follow that plan that's going to correlate directly into that psychological status or position you're going to be in. And the third thing is you got to have an open mind. And I don't tie psychology or psychological standpoint into open mind. An open mind is going to an area where people don't need to like you. When I moved from California to Oregon, I had California plates on my car. The last thing I wanted to tell people was like, hey, I'm from California. And everyone's like, oh, cool, right? But when I moved from Ohio to California, everyone's like, where's Ohio? Right? There's a different culture going on, acceptance, right? Who you become friends with. Is it from around your new workplace? Is it the people that you meet along the way? And I don't mean to go on a tangent here, but guys, when you break it down to plan, mindset, being open-minded, you'd be amazed just by being open-minded how much faster your plan will be implemented or executed.
Dan. So Dan, where can people find you? Where can people connect with you?
You can DM me on Instagram, Oregon Real Estate Expert, or go to www.theexitagents.com. If you want to check out more information about our marketing and positioning agency, liftoffagent.com. And other than that, I'm an open book. If anybody has any questions, anybody's thinking about relocating, anybody needs guidance or real estate or investment coaching, reach out to me. I have mentored, at this time, I could tell you, I don't know how many people, and 1 or 2 phone calls could be the difference between not doing something and really giving you the direction or the clarity that you need to be successful. So
I love it. Dan, that is so great. And honestly, it's about the impact we make in this world. And I can tell you, even this conversation, you're impacting me in an awesome way. And I'm just so excited for our listeners to be able to tap into this and all of your knowledge and wisdom on this. And really, guys, I encourage you to reach out to him. He's an unbelievable guy. And really, it's been such a pleasure getting to know you on this level, Dan. So thank you so much.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Have a good night.
You too. Awesome, guys. Well, thanks for tuning in to another episode of Next Level Lifestyles, where we feature various locations, realtors, and lifestyles worldwide. Thank you, Dan Gandee from the Exit Agents team of eXp Realty. Thank you so much.